Is engaged in the largest clinical trial, the largest global vaccination trial ever.
What? Hang on. We're engaged in a what now?
The world is engaged in the largest clinical trial, the largest global vaccination trial ever.
Largest clinical trial? What? Hang on a minute. The world's engaged in what now?
In the largest clinical trial, the largest global vaccination trial ever.
So, let me get this straight. You're saying that the world is engaged in the largest clinical vaccination trial ever?
The largest global vaccination trial ever.
But you guys have been saying flat out that everybody should rush out and get this. But now you're saying that it's still just in the... What?
The world is engaged in the largest clinical trial, the largest global vaccination trial ever.
Hold it there, Greg. I'm just going to go and check with the internet's arbiter of all things truthful, Wikipedia, and see what they say about what is the purpose for doing vaccination trials. According to Wikipedia, a vaccination trial is a clinical trial that aims at establishing the safety and efficacy of a vaccine prior to it being licensed. So are you saying that this one hasn't been licensed and it hasn't established the safety and efficacy of it before it's being rolled? Then what's the purpose? Why would you be asking everybody to go out and get it? What are you guys hoping to achieve?
And we will have enormous amounts of data. But
right, now I'm starting to get it. So if the world's population consents to take part in this, the largest global vaccination trial ever, you will then have heaps of data so that then you'll be able to establish whether or not it's safe and effective. And if it is safe and effective, then you'll be able to administer it to the world's population? Sounds legit.
But what's the message for the public?
Well, I would have thought that the message for the public was that they are consenting to take part in the largest clinical vaccination trial ever, in order to establish whether or not this vaccine is safe and effective so that it can be licensed and then rolled out and administered to the public. Yeah?
But what's the message for the public? It's safe, it's effective, it will help protect you, but it will also help protect your mum and dad, your grandparents, your nonna, of Australia.
Hang on, Greg. Wait a minute. How can the message for the public be that it's safe and effective when you just told us that the world is engaged in the largest clinical vaccination trial ever?
The world is engaged in the largest clinical trial, the largest global vaccination trial ever.
And the purpose of a clinical vaccination trial is to establish whether or not the vaccine is safe and effective. Now, I know that I'm just one of the great unwashed masses, and being of the great unwashed masses, well, thinking isn't something that I'm really required to do. You know, thinking is just not for the great unwashed masses. But if I was to think about what you just presented here, I would think that first you told us some truth, and then you told us a big load of bullshit. But considering that I'm not supposed to think, I'll just go with what seems to be the most obvious for someone who doesn't think. And that would be that the first half of your statement was taken in the present time, and the last part of your statement was taken from years and years and years into the future, once this global vaccination trial was finished and completed. And now it's been decided that it's safe and effective from all the data that you collected in the trial in the first place to establish whether or not it was safe and effective. I'll tell you what, Greg, I'll go one step better than that, and I will amend that video statement that you just made, because as an esteemed member of the Parliament, we wouldn't want you to be seen to be talking out of both sides of your mouth now, would we? That wouldn't be such a good look for an esteemed member of Parliament, one who has the portfolio of health, one who is the representative of the health of the great unwashed masses of Australia in the Australian government.
The world is engaged in the largest clinical trial, the largest global vaccination trial ever, and we will have enormous amounts of data. But What's the message for the public? It's safe, it's effective, it will help protect you, but it will also help protect your mum and dad, your grandparents, your nonna, all of Australia.
Anyway, this is the part of the video where I'll ask everybody who's not Greg Hunt to turn the video off and go and watch the news or read the newspaper or go and watch some Netflix or something like that, so that I can be left alone with Greg and I can help him out with his public relations so that he's not seen to be sending mixed messages or talking out of both sides of his mouth. Okay guys, thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video. Greg, mate, you fucked that right up. What the fuck were you thinking? You can't go telling them that they're taking part in a trial, a vaccination trial. I mean, everybody knows that you do a vaccination trial to establish whether or not it is safe and effective. It's in fucking Wikipedia, for fuck's sake. I mean, shit, how long have you been a politician for? Bloody Nora. Next time, do not even mention the word trial. Do not mention clinical vaccination trial, for fuck's sake. You'll give the game away. I mean, you want these people to take this poison, don't you? Just stick with the words safe and effective. And if you get backed into a corner, tell them some bullshit like it's been approved for emergency use. They don't know the bloody difference between licensed and safe and effective and approved for emergency use. Fucking hell, Greg, you've been in this game long enough. I thought you would have known better. But having said that, you might have just gotten away with it. I mean, we both know these people are fucking stupid. You can say whatever you want on the TV, and these people will just believe it because it was on the TV. I mean, that's fucking stupid. And I did my little part. I tried my best with that bullshit about it. Maybe the second part of it being recorded years and years and years into the future. But you've got to be careful, Greg. I mean, you've worked so hard and you've come so far. And you've even got people lining up to take this untested, untried, new DNA meddling, quote-unquote, vaccine delivery technology. You don't want to fuck it up now. And look, I get it. It feels good to tell the truth. But how good are you going to feel if you're the cause of this government's, quote-unquote, vaccination program, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, if it falls flat in its face? And how good are you going to feel if you get kicked to the back bench, or worse, lose your job altogether? It's a well-paying job, Greg. You don't want to lose it, mate. So please, in future, you've got to think. No more mention of global clinical trials. You'll end up giving the whole game away.